Now let's talk about as well as. This is a phrase you're going to see a lot in scientific writing. Some writers just love to say as well as. And sometimes it's fine to use this phrase, but I would suggest that you don't use the phrase in place of and. Use and instead of as well as, unless the last item is different from the other ones. So you're going from 3 words down to 1 word when you use and instead of as well as. So let's take a look at some examples where and would be a better choice. Cyanobacteria and associated heterotrophic bacteria hold key roles in carbon as well as nitrogen fixation and cycling. So I have a strike through as well as and in parentheses. So let's read it again with and. Cyanobacteria and associated heterotrophic bacteria hold key roles in carbon and nitrogen fixation and cycling. So to me, the and is much better than the as well as. So these are 2 types of nutrient cycling that are not that different from each other. I mean, they're totally different cycles, but they are similar in that they are nutrient cycles. So and is a better conjunction in this case. Again, in the second case, and is a better conjunction. So let's look at this sentence. Comprehensive interrogation of neuronal circuits requires acute as well as chronic manipulations of spatially defined subpopulations as well as entire populations dispersed over the brain. So in this example, there are 2 as well as phrases. So if we replace those with and, not only does the sentence flow better, but it's also 4 words shorter. The final example is total RNA was isolated using trizol reagent, invitrogen, from undifferentiated HIPSCs as well as from HIPSC CMs at day 25 of differentiation. So these are 2 HIPSC cell lines. So they're not dissimilar from each other. They are similar. So let's use and instead of as well as. So I mentioned that you could use as well as instead of and in the case where the item that you're comparing in the list is different from the other items. So let's look at an example of an effective use of the term as well as. Ruminants have played a vital role in sustaining and developing many human cultures, as well as being used as draft animals and having religious and status values. Now I like as well as being used here because it's setting up a contrast. So the first part of the sentence talks about ruminants playing a vital role in sustaining and developing human cultures. So by that, they're referring to things like dairy animals providing milk and butter and cheese. And then they're talking about a completely different use. So that would be as well as being used as draft animals and religious and status values. So I think as well as works well in this particular example.